fuck is you telling me?
Yes, sir. We are back. Throw the Hook Podcast, episode 8. It's your boy G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. And my partner got Ty Finney, the legend, in the building. What's going on, bro?
Man, what's going on, man? Perfect timing, man. Glad you reached out. You know, good day. I'm off today. So let's do this thing. Talk to sponsor, man. Enjoy this Christmas.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Happy holidays to everyone. You know, whatever you celebrate, happy holidays to you. Y'all know how we do. If you in here, say what's up. Put a 1 in the chat. Let us know we sounding good. Once we get that 1 in the chat, we're gonna be up and rolling, man. But we got a whole lot to talk about. Just a couple shout outs before we get started, man. Big shout out to Boxing First Vlog, aka Blunt, who's trying to get his ass in the stream right now. And he still ain't got no luck. But I'm gonna text him now. Big shout out to Shane, man. Big shout out to Shane, Coach Ali, Padman McGriff, the whole crew. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to everyone. A Vlog, I don't know if you listening, bro, but it still say devices not connected. I don't know what's going on with his situation. But if you in here, please say hello. Please say hello. Put a 1 in the chat. Let us know we sounding good so we can go ahead and get started, man. We coming off of a very popular card. Not gonna say it's a great card, but a very popular card with Anthony Joshua headlining with Jake Paul. We had Alicia Baumgardner. She got a victory in her championship fight. Let me see. Said Mike and AZ. Said hi. What's going on? Hey, Mike, how we sounding, man? How we sounding? Put a 1 in the chat if we sounding good. If we sounding good, put a 1 in the chat for me. Yeah. So, hold on. We got a couple popping in here. Mike said I'm good. Prophet says hi. What's going on with you? All right. You know, so yeah, we're gonna cover pretty much like that card. Of course, everybody's talking about the, you know, Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua fight, but I want to get into. Here we go. Oh my goodness. You just didn't want to be in the stream today, huh?
Oh, I don't know, bro. It's just been crazy, man. My apologies. I ain't mean to hold up the work.
Nah, we just started, bro. Let me give you a proper introduction, man. We got a big bro in the building, man. Boxing First Vlog, aka Blunt, is in the building, man. What's going on, big bro?
Oh man, trying to get these holidays over with, man. Get past this, but ready to talk this boxing. What's good with y'all? What's the topic?
Everything cool, bro. We just running through the comments, man. Prophet said I'm good. Said how's your day? Everything good, man. Everything good over here in the home front. You know what I'm saying? Happy holidays, everyone. My guy Mark Nash in the building, man. What's up, bro? If you ain't following Mark Nash, please follow Mark Nash, man. One of the best channels out there, man. Please follow Mark Nash for sure. The first topic I really want to get into is actually the Alicia Baumgardner fight. And Legend and I was talking about it for a quick second before we went on live. Like, how did y'all feel about the 3-minute rounds? I'll speak kind of last on that, but how'd y'all feel about it?
If not for a 12-round fight.
I agree. I agree.
It could be 3 minutes for 8.
Yeah. Legend, what you thought?
Yeah, I mean, we all know women's fights are what 2 minutes for like 10 rounds. So being a co-main, being co-main to Jake Paul's card and being an undisputed fight, I was cool with it. But it didn't seem like Bodine really had the gas tank to do that. So like going forward, I would like to see the women about go back to 2 minute rounds. But like I said, that was the co-main undisputed fight, so I was cool with it in that aspect. But yeah, women's boxing need to go back to 2 minutes unless they got the stamina, unless they got the gas tank to do that.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with y'all, like if they're gonna do 3 minutes, like Vlog said, if it's 8 rounds or maybe 10, I'm cool with that. But I would prefer the 2 minute rounds, even if they did 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It got to a point like later on in the fight, it was kind of just, to me, y'all let me know what y'all thought, but it felt like the fight was just dragging along. Like I was kind of just, I'm like this, I'm like Shador, I'm looking at my watch. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, when this joint gonna be over? Like, cause it wasn't competitive. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like we had to deal with 3 minute rounds. Like, yeah, if they can go back to 2 minute rounds, or if it's like Vlog said, if we can do 3 minute rounds, but maybe for 8 rounds or maybe 10, I would be cool with that too. But 12 was a bit, like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like we're past the point of like, I feel like they only did it because it was like, okay, well, that's what the men do, but that's what we want to do too. And I feel like we should be getting past that. Like, just women and men is 2 different species. You understand what I'm saying? Like, just physically, it's no disrespect or anything like that. It's just physically, we're 2 different species at the end of the day. Like, we're built different. So that's why women's rules are different than men's rules. And that goes for boxing, basketball and everything else, So yeah, I felt like it was just dragging, but she fine though. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah.
You should buy her on it, yes, man.
Yeah.
She got the skills and she got the looks.
Yeah.
Got the whole package, man.
Yeah.
She's a champion.
Yeah.
So y'all thought she walked away with that fight clean, like unscathed? You ain't see no holes developing?
You mean as far as just her game, period?
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
or was it the time?
To be honest, I think skills wise, I think she has a lot of holes, to be honest with you. Like, I think she's just one of the best out of the crop. You know what I'm saying? But skills wise, she has some work to do. She definitely has some work to do. It's just not a lot of,
Yeah, the pool ain't deep. I get it.
Yeah, the pool is definitely shallow.
Yeah, this kid, they in the kiddie pool.
Yeah,
I'm hearing she ain't been looking the same against since the PED scandal or the juice scandal. She ain't been looking the same.
Damn.
So, but I mean, to me, maybe it was just Boudin, her opponent. She looked good. She was landing the cleaner punches and everything. It's just her opponent. I think she was just too much for Boudin. But to me, she looked okay. You know what I mean?
Boudin was getting off on her, bro. Obviously,
she was like, to me, after this, I believe it was the 7th round when she scored a knockdown. Like, once she got up, she just looked like, I ain't got no chance of winning this. I'm just gonna go finish these last 4 rounds or so off. 4 or 5 rounds. It didn't look like her heart was in it. I mean, she landed some good shots, but it just, to me, it didn't seem like her heart was in it 100%.
I mean, yeah, I think it was the time. That's where I was saying I don't know if it's defensive lackage completely throughout the fight from Baumgartner, because she was catching combinations. It wasn't like she was eating these singles and she just had to deal with these singles coming from out of nowhere throughout the fight. She was actually getting hit with combinations after getting her own combinations off. So I was wondering whether, okay, she got so tired, she just stood there after her work and, caught some work back, or you know, was it the time? Is it just too long? She didn't have the legs to keep escaping throughout the whole 3 minutes. So I don't know. That's why I was wondering if y'all saw any holes or, you know, I mean, I watched the fight. I thought it was the best fight on the card as far as physically what we saw, boxing, some boxing skill in there, obviously, because you got to have some sort of skill to get in there like that. Not everybody, but, you know, most people, even women included. So I thought they had the best action fight. Somewhat back and forth early, which was good. Keep the fans engaged. You don't want to see a dog walking like that. That'd have been super long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely. Even though this is an advertisement, I gotta put it up. It says, "Would you like many views? Come on this website." The only reason I'm highlighting it because that's my first comment ever on Kick. We are streaming on Kick, so big shout out to Kick and whoever that was that sent it. Ben said, "Jeff, oh Lord."
Called you
My
Jeffy?
mother, Jeffy. I said, my mother called me that when I was a baby. Oh my goodness. He said, don't be hating on my boo.
Who is our boo?
I guess Baumgartner. I guess I ain't throwing no shade. I ain't throwing no shade.
Oh,
is
that a girl?
Tiger.
I thought it was a girl calling you Jeffy.
I don't know. These days a girl could be a girl's boo
Yeah,
too.
yeah. No doubt.
We can't discriminate. We can't discriminate.
Yeah, they batting from the other side of the plate.
they switch hitters. You know what I'm saying? Switch hitters. You know. They just it seemed like they both fought with the 3 minutes in mind. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the vibe that I got. But you know, it was definitely some good action.
We on this fight still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ring size. Why was those girls in that ring?
Hold on, I'm about to get to that. All right, so we're gonna transfer over. Let's just get into the whole Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua. Joshua got a 6th round knockout. Regardless of who it was against, beautiful right hand over the top. As far as the ring size is concerned, a vlog, I don't know if you know, but that ring size was a 22 by 22.
Yeah, that was an Olympic swimming pool. That's what that was.
I said in my video, it was a small parking lot.
Yeah, you know I saw you clowning.
That ring was so crazy. Like that ring was so crazy.
Bro, why did they have those girls in that ring? That fight looked awkward based on the times, just the 3 minutes, because I keep looking in the corner and I'm like, they got a lot of time left in this round, bro. And then it like they was taking them a minute to even get to each other to start the round. I'm like, damn, because there wasn't nobody running across the ring to get, so the timer was taken and then the engagement, I was like, oh, these gonna be some long rounds. Just based on the ring size, not even them being ladies, I thought it was going to be a long fight. And so was the same thing when it came to the main event. I thought that ring size made that fight longer than it should have been. In my personal opinion, and I'm a strategist in this boxing world, they did Jake Paul a detriment. I'm not screaming for him to win, but as a strategist, if you wanted to give him his best opportunities, don't allow him to overuse his legs with such a big ring. You shorten the ring, make him work on his actual boxing. I ain't going to say ability, but learnings, whatever he's learning. Let's see what the angles is like. Let's see what the side steps, the parries, like, let's see some other stuff outside of the jaw jacket. And we didn't see anything but jaw jacket since he started this boxing thing.
Well, I mean, Legend, you got something for that?
That was the first thing I noticed, man, when I turned on the card from the get-go, was that ring. I said, dang, that's a big ring. And that was a 100% to me, a Jake Paul move. He knew he's going in there against a big guy, a big puncher. So he knew he had to use his legs. And that's what he did. That's what he did.
Okay, but hold up though, Ty. Isn't if you're smart, a big man coming forward won't burn out like a big man trying to avoid somebody else. See, so it's not like you went in there like, yo, I'm going to give this dude a big ring because he going to be running. Eventually, I'm going to catch him. What? How are you thinking you're going to be the dude of running, avoiding a dude that can get to people. He ain't the greatest cutting the ring off type of guy, but we've seen him corner several of his opponents and get them out of there. So he does have the ability to trap you at some point, run you down at some point. So I just thought it was just bad strategists, bad management, and they actually served him up on a platter like Netflix wanted him to be, served up on a platter.
Well, I mean,
let me add this. Let me ask you this, Vlog. Has Jake Paul fought like that against anybody else that he's fought? Jake Paul is stopping these guys.
This the first. Yeah, he fought a little bit like that against Fury. He was doing a lot of round the ring, forcing Fury to come to him. A lot of that pulling him in, tying up, leaning on the ropes, trying to rest himself. I saw a lot of that sort of roundabout the ring sort of boxing style that he has, which is not really a style because he's not throwing the jab off the ropes. He's not doing anything slick or boxer-esque off those ropes. But go ahead, Jeff. I don't want to hold you up, my dude. This your show.
We good. No, we straight. I think it played out exactly. I think it just played out the way it was supposed to play out. Like 22 by 22 was insane, yo. Like it's insane. Like the amount of movement that he had, he was tired. Listen, he was tired after round 2, just off of the movement.
Yeah, but he's never been somebody that has a high conditioning, even when he's coming forward and he's the aggressor.
Understood, but it's kind of like a pick your poison when you fight a guy like that.
Oh yeah, that's Netflix told him you gonna take this shot.
Listen, I was just like, yo, like the amount of moving he was doing, like the first 3 rounds, I was just like, all right, now, like, like I get it, but at the same time, I'm just like, yo, like,
hey, bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. He was out there looking like a male trick, bro, because he a lot of leg hugging, homie. A lot of bro, you out there looking real fruity, homie. Real fruity, bro. Just saying.
He was
like at some point, bro, get off your knees, bro.
Yeah,
at some point, stay off your knees. I get it, you might fall once or twice, but at 4 or 5, like I think if I counted, it was 7 times he was down there in that position, grabbing that man's leg like that. 7 different times throughout that. Later, especially later in the fight where they started adding up.
Yeah, I didn't count exactly how many, but it was enough to be noticed for sure. It was a lot of kneecap hugging. He was real
thigh hugging, homie. Listen, he was grabbing that man by the upper thigh and sliding down his leg, bro. Like, what are you doing, bro? You looking real bougie out here right now.
Jake Paul was really romantic with them kneecaps, man. I was just like, hey, what the hell is going on
sensual,
out here in these streets, bro?
He was real sensual with it.
Yeah, man. I was like, bro, like this is crazy, man. But it was
to me, bro. It was a travesty to boxing, to be honest, bro. It made no sense as a fight, bro.
Can I put this disclaimer out there real quick, though? Can I put this out there? I'm gonna put something out there real quick. There's a lot of people that say, like, hey, this is, and I'm talking boxing general public. They'll say, hey, what is boxing coming to? Like, this is not real boxing. Like these exhibitions, this is not real boxing. The thing about it is, if you're going to say that, right? When real boxing comes to your screen, actually show the same energy as you do when you see these exhibitions and you're expressing all of these different opinions and you're spending time actually commenting on these fights that are quote unquote not boxing. When we get real boxing on the screen, a lot of people was nowhere to be found. A lot of people was nowhere to be found. Go ahead, Legend. Go ahead.
I agree with that because if I can't remember the exact numbers, but I just remember Jake Paul and Mike Tyson doing better numbers than Crawford and Canelo. I mean, that don't make sense. Yeah, but that just shows you a lot of casuals are tuning in to watch these fights. But it kind of to me, it kind of upsets me because you got like a legit fight between Crawford and Canelo, top fighters, and they don't even do good numbers as, old Mike Tyson and a YouTuber. It just don't make sense to me. But, it just shows there's a lot of casuals out there.
It's a lot of casuals out there, and even I think in the
You
one
know what
good,
that told me though? I ain't gonna lie to you. When you mention those numbers, that told me Canelo's true fan base didn't have faith in him. And that's probably didn't even start from that fight. It probably started from 2 or 3 fights earlier as we started to see him fade. But if that fight didn't sell, when that's all anybody would really pay for is to see, you know what I mean? To lose is like, come on, bro. But I think his fan base didn't have any faith in him because they, you know the truth. So what you gonna pay for what you already know? So I could kind of see them numbers not being as great compared to some of his other numbers.
Yeah, and I think to add on to that, I think I think his stock is just going down. I think his stock is going down. Bud has never been the guy to really pack a major house out. You know what I'm saying? Canelo's the one that usually pack the houses out. So to see that the numbers didn't match up with that fight, you know, just seemed like Canelo's just kind of on a downslide, even though it was a good fight. You know, it was a good fight, but I think that was just a sign that Canelo's popularity is going down and just less people are willing to watch him, you know, on a big stage. You know, let me get in these comments real quick. Fredo, what's going on, bro? He said, to go from decisions with 60-year-old Mike Tyson and washed up Chavez Jr. to fighting a 36-year-old two-time heavyweight champ, gold medalist in AJ is an insane jump in the competition. I definitely agree with that. I think Netflix, you know, I think Netflix told Jake Paul, like, hey, listen, we got to get somebody in here that's going to sell. So I don't think that was 100% his choice, but I think that was something that was presented to him, and you know the numbers look right, and he just went on and took it. I don't think it was about the competition. You know, he's just putting on an event. You know, I think that's just literally what it is.
Yeah, and not to mention he was supposed to fight Tank first.
Yeah, like that would have been crazy. Like I'm kind of glad the Tank fight didn't fall through. Like I just you know,
Can I be honest
between the two? Go ahead.
No, if that fight would have happened, to me, it would have made him look worse. So that fight not happening in the same results, or him losing on the card, or obviously being outboxed, and as we can see, Tank he literally can box. Not let alone just he's a puncher. He can box. He's trained by a great trainer. That being said, though, I think that loss would have made him look worse than actually being knocked out by AJ. Like, he's looking at everybody like, what y'all thought was supposed to happen? Yeah, we thought you wasn't going to get in that big-ass ring. We thought you was actually going to go in there and fight. That's what I thought.
Hey, let me ask you this, Vlog. If he fought Tank, I mean, I don't know what the rules were if he was going to fight Tank, but do you think he would have that same ring? Do you think the ring would have been the same size if he fought Tank?
Oh hell no, because he would have put the onus on Tank to be the mover. But if he's a studier and a connoisseur of this game, he would know that pivot game from Tank is nasty. Ask Rolly, can you end up face first in the ropes? Just saying.
Yeah, I just don't want to see a guy that's 140 fighting a guy that's 200. That's why I prefer the AJ fight. Just Tank, and I love Tank game, but it's weight classes for a reason, and it's just I didn't want to see me personally. You know, you swinging on a big dude like that. I wouldn't have wanted to see Tank get injured either.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's kind of like at least there was more of a comparability in size, you know, between AJ and Jake Paul, but it's a lot of casuals. It's a lot of casuals.
Yeah, was it actually a compatibility in size, or was he right in the middle? He was literally right in the middle between them two dudes.
No.
This is why you can tell he's not a real dude. He's not somebody that.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just talking about the weight. Just
200, but 240 is. Man, 40 pounds is a big difference over 200.
No. Jake Paul came in at 217. He came in at 217.
So where AJ come in?
245.
240, yeah, 245, 246. That's what I thought. 246. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, but that's still major, baby. That's 30, 35 pounds, baby.
But the thing is, but we see that in regular heavyweight fights. That's why I was like,
yeah,
I can vibe.
But these is dudes, but we talking about dudes that's actually truly worked on their craft and maybe are trying to improve until they can see.
No, I understand that. Like, but I think if you watch that card, I think you understood the assignment. Like, you understood what you was getting ready to watch. It was going to be a show and not a boxing show. Like, you know what I'm saying? This was entertainment for the casual eye, for the casual boxing fans. Like, that's just what it was. Fredo, he said Jake Paul versus maybe Conor McGregor or even Adrian Broner might not be a bad matchup, and both have a mouthpiece to sell. To be honest with you, he would probably go back to fighting guys like Conor McGregor. Now, I don't know. I seen a recent post to Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner looked like he about 200 pounds, bro. He looked like he about 200. I think Jake Paul versus Adrian Broner, I think that's I don't know. I don't know.
Man, that is fight. He would be boxing's Tyrone Woodley, bro. Because I don't know why they did Woodley. If he ever walks in another gym, if he don't talk pure wrestling, if you ever pick up a striking gloves, boxing gloves, the mitt, if you don't find the nearest mat and go twirl and roll around and do all of that shoulder pin that y'all do, because he need to stay out of boxing ring, bro. He need to stay out of boxing ring. That was dude like 65 years old, bro.
Cool.
You got knocked out by a 65-year-old man. Dude got grandchildren, bro.
You talking about Woodley?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Bro, that was terrible. That was terrible. That whole card was not very good, but it was, like y'all said, it was entertainment. You know what I mean? It took a long time to get that knockout, but I wasn't very happy with it as a boxing fan because I didn't really see no true boxing out there. It just was a bunch of fights.
That was
even the girls. That was a title fight, and that was just a fight because Bumgarner was looking like a rusty nail at some points.
Yeah, it was purely purely just, it was entertainment for the casuals, man. But yeah, Jake Paul versus AB, that might be I gotta think about that. I think about that. Mark Nash, he said Canelo versus Crawford was a massive success. Oh, yeah, no, we're not saying that it wasn't. We're not saying that it wasn't. Like, Legend basically said that Canelo Crawford numbers weren't bigger than Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. That's what he was comparing it to. So, Canelo and Crawford it was a huge success. Definitely. He said Crawford been packing the house since Gamboa. Yeah, some of them fights, some of them were home games for sure. The Spence fight, Terrence Crawford's one of the he's one of the main names out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he said that's an incorrect narrative. He can't sell. No. I don't believe that he can't sell, because if he couldn't sell, he wouldn't have got the Canelo fight. You know what I'm saying?
We talking about that crossover, that Beatles compared to, you know what I mean, to somebody from Motown, like that crossover. It's a point where it's got to happen. Obviously, it happened towards, like we said, with the Spence, then going into Canelo. He's obviously selling. He's doing numbers before that to even get those major fights like that. So the numbers they add up.
Yeah, Crawford, and the thing is, Crawford, he's made major improvements in terms of like his like what he sells and him packing places. If you remember, Mark Nash at one point, Top Rank was saying they was losing money. You know what I'm saying? They was losing money with Terrence Crawford because he wasn't packing the house. So he's made a major transition from back in them days. He said, Mark Nash said, Woodley said he only had 3 weeks notice, 2 weeks of training. Why? I wonder, why is that?
Yeah, I was going to add that to Vlogs about that fight, Vlogs assessment. Yeah, and he mentioned he only had a few weeks to train or whatever, but like, yeah, man, Woodley just looked.
I wonder why, though.
Man, maybe. I mean, I guess maybe.
But training has nothing. You can't train your whiskers. That's all I'm gonna say. And if you know your whiskers ain't no good, don't go put your jaws out there like that, bro. It's not, every check is not a good check. All money ain't good money, bro. This dude, I mean, face first, bro. Come on, bro. What's wrong with you, bro? Like, don't do that to yourself. That's crash test dummy shit.
Says Silva is a legend. He'll KO most dudes. No, Silva a bad boy. Silva a bad 50-year-old bad boy, but he a bad boy. Mark Nash said that's because Mike Tyson has been a cultural icon since the 80s. Canelo versus Crawford gate was 3 times higher. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like, but Mark Nash, it just goes back to the narrative. Like, just for Jake Paul to even be in the stratosphere as a Canelo Crawford is kind of the point, you know.
And see, we got to look at it this way too, because that was on a streaming service. How many of them people watched that, bought that streaming service for the first time for that fight? It's a big difference to how many people literally bought the pay-per-view on DAZN to see them dudes fight. So it's I think it's a little bit give and take when we talking numbers and how relevant the numbers is. I think 3 times it's Fanny's in the house and in the building. Come on, bro. Gate money is real money. Gate money is the foundation of this shit.
No,
because if you got 18 million people that already paid for your streaming service watching that fight, is it really eyes on that fight? Is he really contributing to your network and what's going on?
No, I see what you're saying, because it's like if it's an actual pay-per-view, you're actually paying out money for that specific event. Netflix is, I think, either their top 3 in terms of like actual subscribers in terms of streaming service. So no, I get where you're going with that, but I don't want to lose, like, I don't want to lose the context of this conversation. The context.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I ain't staring it.
Yeah, it's really for someone that's a quote unquote YouTuber to even have numbers even close to any of our legends in terms of actual fighters. It just goes to show how many casual fans there are out here. It's a lot of casual fans out here, but I think these Jake Paul fights are actually showing how many casual fans are actually out here.
I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. Are them casual fans a product of this era that we in, or have them casual fans always been around since the golden days? They just never had a voice.
I think it's probably more the era. I would say it's probably more the era. You know what I mean? You know, it's just, but you have more action type events. So you have like MMA is more popular now than it was back in the day. You got some of them people that watch that. You got the league where they smacking the hell out of people. You got that, and people are entertained by that. So I think it's kind of a little bit of the era too, but you know, it's just a lot of casuals out here. There's a lot of casuals out here. Oh, you know, let me get in this real quick. He said that's not true. They lost money because Bud didn't give them a discount during COVID. Yeah, he didn't give him a discount during COVID, but the one thing about Bob Arum, like, he'll pick and choose who he say that about. And Mark Nash, you know this, he'll do that with the black fighter. So me saying that was kind of, people listen to Bob Arum. So when Bob Arum said like, hey, I'm losing money on Bud, people was running with it. People was running with it, whether it was right, wrong, or in between. Because at the end of the day, like Mark Nash, we don't have the books. We don't have the books. Like, I don't have the books. You don't have the books. Nobody has the books, so we don't actually know how much profit it was and profit loss margins.
His track record can speak to that. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds similar to what he was saying when he had Floyd, and he was saying Floyd was costing too much for promotion. Yeah. So isn't that the same sort of argument? Just worded it differently.
But I think he goes there. But it seems like he goes there with the black fighter. That's my point.
I'm just speaking. Like 2 of his biggest black fighters he's ever had at top rank.
He said the same.
Looking at them historically now. Yeah, it's the same argument, just stated differently for 2 different fighters, but it's the same argument.
And then you have to have that logic. You have to have that knowledge to kind of
differentiate like him just posturing and negotiating or him just like hating. And I'm talking about Bob Arum. Like Bob Arum could have, like, Floyd got bought out of that contract. Floyd got bought out of that contract. Like, to be honest with you, I'm like, if Bob Arum really wasn't being cheap, he could have just kept Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Like, could have kept him. But it goes back to, I think, the black fighter. I think that's what he goes with. And it's not whether it's true or not. It's him putting it out there, and then people either, you got some people that don't like black fighters. You got some people that don't like Bud. They took it and ran with it. Sometimes people can say things and it's not true, but people will run with it and entertain it for a long period of time. So even though it may not be true, Mark Nash, people have attached that to Bud Crawford. It's not fair to Bud Crawford, but they've attached it to his name. And that's why I mentioned it. He said Bob was trying to damage his stock when he knew Bud wasn't going to re-sign with Top Rank. I agree with that as well. And it's a whole, like, Bob Arum has a track record of doing this with not only the black fighter, but just a fighter that's getting ready to leave Top Rank. Like, he pulled some BS with Manny too. He pulled some BS with Manny Pacquiao too. You know what I'm saying? He said that's proprietary information. We never know how many bought that app unless they tell us, though. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. He said Netflix is number 1, Amazon and Disney are 2 and 3. Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying.
But I'm just using us, and we'll never know their company numbers, but we can apply common sense to be like, yo, I doubt if that was 50,000 new people came in there and purchased that app for that fight.
No, I got
you. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you're already, I got you. You kind of see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying. Like, it's one of them things. It's like Mark Nash said, like, Netflix is number 1. So you're having that type of an event on the number 1 streaming platform in the world. Is like, how many eyeballs were actually on there for the first time, or it's just on the biggest platform in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you put my podcast on Netflix, I'm like, my numbers are gonna go crazy just because I know somebody's gonna glance by it. Like, I get what you're saying, for sure, but it's kind of that's just the world that we're in. I think we have a lot of real boxing going on. We got a lot of good matchups, a lot of competitive matchups that happen, but it's just every once in a while you'll have this quote unquote exhibition for, the casual fans, and I just don't want people to get too invested.
Is it me, or did boxing feel like it was like a strike year? Like, you know what I mean? Felt like kind of what was happening in Hollywood, like, when all them writers and everybody went on strike, and just like everything just kind of, came to a little, it just didn't have a flow. Then we didn't have that year. I think coming 26, I think boxing gonna make up, because obviously my look ahead is some outstanding fights. It ain't a lot of like quote unquote pay-per-view fights, but for real boxing heads, there's some serious fights coming up early in 2026. So I think it's a makeup year for boxing, personally myself, especially when this is supposed to have been quote unquote one of the biggest cards of the year. Like,
but we've had some real good cards this year. I think we've had probably more talk about exhibitions than anything else. But I mean, Mr. Turkey Island Sheik has done put on some real good cards this year. You know what I mean? But January's looking nice though. January's looking nice for sure.
Well, maybe for us, I think, what American fighters have kind of didn't do this year in the game. Even our American Latin fighters, like, I don't think we really had that guy surge ahead. Mason did his thing late, rounded out the year, but again, promoted not as well, you know what I mean, based on what I can see in social media and out here in the public. I didn't see him promoted that way as to be that next guy, you know what I mean. Obviously a world champ, the youngest in boxing history, or at least in that weight division.
You talking about Abdullah?
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how, like, I just felt like it was a slightly down year for boxing, especially on the western side of the map. Sully doing his thing. I
think we've had, like,
I gotta go back and think about it in terms of like the entire year. But
That's
we've had some major cards, bro. We've had some major cards this year. Major
I
action.
mean,
We've had some major action this year, bro. Now comparing a couple cards to like the whole year, like that's why I said I gotta actually sit back and actually kind of
yeah,
recap the whole year. You
yeah,
know,
but if to me, if the card was that good, it from March of 2025, it's right there at the top of your tongue, yo. That main event for that world title, you know what I mean? Them two dudes went in there. That's not it's not right here for me. What happened late, because it seemed like we waited late for, obviously we got past the Canelo situation, but that was almost like inevitable. So I don't even know if that was such a climactic moment for this boxing year. For me personally, I know it's historical and all of that, but it was almost like we seen the writing on the wall. Like we've already seen this dude be slow to the punch. Left hook coming from, I mean, like your grandma throwing that shit. You could see her getting it, a shoulder ready, trying to loosen the elbow up to throw that left hook to the body. So he just been looking that bad to me. For that fight to be like, yo, it's the biggest upset and all of that. And it just, I don't know, a little bit lackluster just because his performance level.
hey, you're talking about Canelo.
Yeah, talking about Canelo. So wrapping up the year, that's why I just felt like it didn't really, remember when said your curl didn't quite curl up? It's just like this boxing year just didn't quite curl up for me.
I can't, well, I mean, now you said that I probably need to do like an end of the year show, probably just to recap the year, and get other people's opinion on it. Just if you were in here, like, what was your opinion of the year as far as boxing is concerned? He said my mom and aunties watched the Mike versus Paul fight for Mike. They all slipped the Canelo Crawford. Said yeah, but we as hardcore shouldn't repeat lies and rumors from casuals. Now, see, I disagree with that, but I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that. There's hardcore fans that have a lot of hatred for certain fighters. It could be certain fighters, certain promotional companies. You have a lot of hardcore fans that really they only focus on certain areas. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a lot of biased hardcore fans. That's where I'm trying to go. We have a lot of biased hardcore fans. So you have to point out these things in order to let people know that they are lies, that it is cap, because there's more lies and rumors from casuals floating around that hardcore people actually listen to. You go on Facebook, right? You go on Facebook, there's boxing groups that have 200, 300, 400,000 members, and you see all types of crap on there. But you'll see like 400 or 500 comments, and these are like, some of them are like hardcore fans going back and forth with casuals trying to really like educate. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you can't just let people say what a lie is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you don't say like, hey, this is a lie, or hey, this is some nonsense, that lie will spread around. Mark Nash is just like you said with Bud, with Bob Arum. Bob Arum said, hey, I'm losing money with Bud. If we take the approach that you're saying, right? We take the approach that you're saying, like, we all know that's probably a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know that's probably a lie. But for us hardcore fans, especially us in media, we have to highlight when there's some bullshit coming through the screen. We got to highlight when there's some nonsense going through the airwaves. Like, it's our job. It's our job. And we can't say, hey, I have the same knowledge as Mark Nash, or Mark Nash has the same knowledge as me. We have to make sure that we're delivering that message to all of the people, saying, hey, this person said this is nonsense. Like, you have to highlight it, because you can't assume that every hardcore fan has the same knowledge.
Can I do that right now then? Can I do that right now? This, for example, of what Jeff is talking about. They just Maxi Pad and them from Ring Magazine. They just had
who's Maxi Pad? Because you got I know who you're talking about, but you gotta say
Kellerman.
Kellerman. Okay, go ahead.
Maxi Pad Kellerman was on that Ring Magazine platform that they done gave him to you know, for him to do what he do. You know, he the Grand Wizard. So anyway, that said, they were letting Ryan Garcia bump his gums, which most of these platforms do. But if they were solid in supporting Jeff's statement, he said, "Yo, whatever I took, it was tainted." Instead of being real to the game and just a real person and a real journalist, a real boxing fan, head supporter of just the sport, you would have been like, "Yo, tainted by who, where, when, and why?" Not let him just say, "Yo, these things could be tainted," and just let him walk off with that and just leave that out there as if that's just it. He said it was tainted, so that's just it. What the bro? Like that's what I mean. You can't. I agree. You can't let these dudes get away with it, but you have these big platforms like Ring Magazine where they allow them to get away with it. So that reinforces the casuals to believe that they guy was wrong in some kind of way for having a DQ on his record or losing his belt or whatever, and just not being solid people because they're supporting this. So we gotta fight back.
So
even from the smallest platforms like mine.
And Mark Nash and I'll give you another example. So take Subriel Matias, right? Subriel Matias fight is still going on. Mark Nash, you and I both know, and everybody else know that he failed the test. He failed the test. His test came back hot. The WBC said, "Hey, he's innocent, but he has to take an additional test, and he has a year probation." Mark Nash, it is our job to tell everyone that's bullshit. What the WBC is kicking is bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? I don't care if it's from casuals. I don't care if it's from the WBC. I don't care if it's from a sanctioning body. I don't care. Listen, it can be legend. It can be blunt. If I feel like it's some cap, I'm like, "Yo, bro, that's cap." You know what I'm saying? Like as media, if we're hardcores, part of our job is to highlight the nonsense and let people know what's real and what's not. That's kind of just part of our job. You know what I'm saying? That's part of our job. So I don't agree with we shouldn't repeat lies and rumors from casuals. We have to highlight that stuff because we don't know who's listening to it.
But what about when the boxers and them lie? What about when the boxers lie and they management lie? Like what about boxers?
Boxers lie, management lie, casuals lie. Like a lot of people lie. I'm like, but if you keeping it 100 and you keeping it straight down the middle, I don't assume anybody that's listening to me or Legend or Blunt, whoever's listening, I don't assume you have a certain level of intelligence when it comes down to boxing. So I always feel like I got to educate at the end of the day, but I'm also humble enough to get educated. You understand what I'm saying? And so, Mark Nash, that's why I'm glad that you're in the comment section and you're saying the things that you're saying, because people need to hear these different types of perspectives. But we're coming down two different paths, but we're getting to the same spot. At the end of the day, we're trying to highlight what are actual facts and what's BS when it comes down to the sport of boxing. So I'm glad that you in here kicking what you kicking. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Tell me how get to that number 50,000 that 50,000 did or didn't buy the app for the fight." According to Netflix, they had 1.43 million new subscriber accounts for the Jake versus Tyson fight. That's crazy. 1.3. Wow. And he said,
now how can we verify that? Like,
well, there's no way we can verify that. We can only go by what they said.
That's what I mean. Like that's it's like when you talk gate numbers, like when Ty brought up the gate, that you can see that when they panning that camera around, you can see that. You know what I mean? So that's a little different than them saying.
That's the world we in, though. Like it's just no doubt.
That's
the world we in for sure.
No doubt.
Mark said around 33 million people globally watched the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua boxing match live on Netflix. They haven't released the new subscriptions yet. Okay, fair enough. He said, yes, a lot of great cards this year. Mark Nash, like I said, we're gonna do a recap joint for the year, but I felt like it was a lot of good cards for the year.
Was it that year? Like, we had some years in boxing right before COVID. Like, you know what I mean? Even struggling through COVID, we had some decent little fights. You know, I'm just saying, I just didn't.
Hold on.
Just for me.
Ring 3 and 4 said the last Crescendo was a good card too. Canelo Crawford, Shakur Stevenson. He said, I had a blast. I went this year in boxing. I went to Orlando, Vegas 3 times, in Japan, all for boxing. That's love, bro. That's what's up. That is what's up. He said, yeah, but that's not what was happening. Y'all said the Bud was packing out the arena, and I've been to mad fights. And it was packed. Let me see. Say, Hunt, you didn't highlight, fam. You said it like it was a fact. He said, yo, Maxi Pad. Sometimes they aren't allowed to ask certain questions.
I mean, I know. Yeah, because Tank just had a little interview situation like that. And dude was almost like a hype man. You know what I mean? He wasn't really interviewing him. He was kind of softballing it. You know, I get it.
Yeah, he said that's definitely BS.
But if you solid, though, you solid. You know what I'm saying?
He said, I think I missed my point. He said, are you going to do a 2025 award show? I need to do one. Bro. I need to do one. He said, it's Bud Fighter of the Year and Bomac Trainer of the Year for you. I mean, just off of that victory alone, it's kind of hard to not give it to Bomac.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The way they was hollering about that monster, that killer. Yeah, I don't know. Haney got a nice little, run at that Fight of the Year situation. Boxer of the Year, too.
You made Fighter of the Year? Yeah.
Fight of the Year. That was still was a good fight. It slowed down the last 3, maybe 2, 3, you know what I mean? But I thought it was still a good fight.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of good. Like I said, I think we had a lot of good cards this year. Like I said, I'll be able to do I'll probably set up a end of the year show where we can kind of highlight 2025 and maybe do some awards and things like that. I think that's a good idea. So I think we could definitely do that. But I'm glad Mark Nash made some of the comments that he made in here, because I'm like, it just goes to show people that are hardcores and people that have channels, everybody kind of had their own style on how they want to address certain things. Like me personally, like if somebody's kicking out a lie, you know what I'm saying, and it's a casual lie, but I see hardcores running with it, then I got to speak on it. Now, with some stuff that's just ridiculous, like I won't address some things, but it depends on how much traction the lie is actually getting. If the lie is actually, getting some traction, then I got to step in and be like, all right, listen, that's some nonsense. Like that's some BS. You know what I'm saying? But even with the Bud Crawford talk, people will say things about Bud Crawford just out of hatred. You understand what I'm saying? PBC back in the day used to have packed cards. And you know what they used to say, bro? They used to say, oh, the card really didn't sell. Al Heyman gave out a bunch of free tickets. Or if it was a fight in Vegas and it ended up being packed, they'd be like, oh, well, they just gave out free comps towards the end of the the promotion. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so even if a fight is packed, a person that has a negative connotation or somebody that just wants to put a negative spin on it, they'll say, oh, well, it was only packed because they gave out free tickets at the last minute. So you got that too. So I'm like, you have to put everything into context. Now, as far as Bud is concerned, yes,
Bud has been stepping it up. Bud has been stepping it up. Spence, Porter, you know, he just had the Canelo fight. Like he's, you know, he's unified. Like we understand it. So when I speak of Bud, I think Bud has just as many haters as fans. So when you're speaking about
his crossroad, and for a lot of fighters in them positions, same thing with Canelo. When you leave that original base, is like, especially if you're leaving that original base accomplished, your takeoff and your launch pad is pretty much set up. You know what I mean? Because now you're an independent operator. You going to the highest bidder, so it's automatically a scale. You start scaling upwards from a position that them two guys kind of took. With obviously Canelo leaving Golden Boy in that situation behind them, his numbers obviously elevated.
Yeah, I mean, and Bud definitely done scaled up for sure. But he's kind of done it more in a traditional way as well. You start scaling up by starting to sell out home games. You know what I'm saying? Like when he fought in Omaha, he was packing the house. And that's where it starts. You start from home, you pack out your home. Because there's not a lot, because Mark Nash, everybody don't pack out their hometown. Let's make that clear too. That's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. You know
Especially what I'm saying? Depending on where you're from.
Yeah. So like you take a Sean Porter, for example. Sean Porter's from Ohio. Like
he's not selling out nothing nowhere. Cleveland. He not. He Akron. He might get a house in Akron.
Yeah, Bud actually went about it the way you're supposed to go about it. You know what I'm saying? Like you start with the home games and then you go from there. Not a lot of fighters can just start packing the house and they don't start like in their hometown. Like you take like Floyd's from Michigan. Like he's known to be from Vegas, but he's originally from Michigan. You know what I'm saying? But he ended up packing the house based off of not only his fights, but he started making power moves. Terrence Crawford started making power moves. He started making power moves, then his numbers started to increase. You said he was packing the house since Gamboa. Gamboa was a home game. A couple of them fights were home games, but as Crawford built his brand and built his popularity, them numbers started to go up. You know what I'm saying? So even with the Spence fight, before the Spence fight, that's why I like people like Mark Nash to come into the comment section, because it sparks up my thought process. To be honest with you, a vlog legend, you tell me if I'm lying. PBC was stalling for a long time to get that fight together. And one of the main things they was highlighting is that Bud wasn't putting up enough numbers. Am I lying?
You know what I think that was?
I'm asking. Is that a lot of?
No. They put. I remember we talked about that when we originally started doing this podcast. I remember that. Well, not this one, but the original podcast, right. Goodfellas. But yeah, I do remember that. But that leads to the position where I think that was their way of not really shading or not maybe wanting to do direct business with Top Rank.
I agree.
You know what I mean? That could have been a way to, okay, we're not going to put it on a promotion. We'll put it on the fighter. And it don't really hurt the matchup. You know what I mean? Don't do nothing market-wise per se in the long run. But maybe at that moment, if they were trying to make that fight within 3 months, that a statement like that wouldn't have looked good. You know what I mean? Projection-wise. But if you talking about just something to appease and say why it's not happening right now. Oh, well, it's Bud. I think it was a thing where they wanted Bud to be a free agent, whereas though they could benefit more for him fighting. Yeah, you know what I mean? Fighting their guys. I think that's what it was.
So Mark Nash, I don't know if you're still in here, but we're gonna do an end of the year show. So if you wanna come on that show, we could definitely do that. Because I felt like he said, I think I missed my point. I should have just shot you the link. Because it's sometimes you
commenting in this, comment section, and sometimes you just reading versus you actually hearing it is kind of like two different things. So, I'll reach out to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? We'll do that show, and I'll definitely have you on for sure. Like I understand where you're going with some of the statements that you're making, but it kind of goes back to my original point. Like even PBC and even Errol Spence was trying to use them same lies that Bob Arum was saying in negotiations because they didn't want to do business. They didn't want to do business. They really didn't want to fight for a while. They didn't want to fight for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So these lies and stuff from casuals and stuff like that, sometimes boxers will use those lies. Sometimes managers will use those lies. Sometimes promotional companies will use those lies. Sometimes members of the boxers' teams will use them same lies when it's convenient for them. So that's why I say we got to speak on a lot of this stuff. We got to speak on a lot of this stuff, bro. Even if we don't want to speak on
lies, I got a couple questions, couple issue topics.
Mm-hmm.
The catch weight situation that didn't happen with Boots and Devin Haney. Who's lying? Like it because I'm hearing that Boots and them offered a catchweight fight to Haney, but yet they turned around and fought for a 154-pound title. Weird. That being said, Dev said that they offered the fight. Pop said that they offered Boots and them to fight. So who is lying?
I don't know who's lying. I can definitely find out though. I can definitely find out. Sure.
I would love to know that. That has been something that's been boggling my mind because Pops just was on somebody thing, and he was like, "Yeah, we offer Boots and them to fight, so we out here making the big fights." And, he's still hyping himself up. Him and his son, they doing their thing. I ain't mad at him, but I just would like to know how that worked out, or like, I mean, it's weird. It's weird. And then my second one, the situation with Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson, and Shakur just standing 10 toes down that he would never fight this dude. Mm-hmm. But he kind of semi-contradicted himself because he said he would fight him if it was legacy money on the line. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
family money, hand down money.
I mean, to address the first one, to be honest with you, I don't have too much information on it, but I just heard Haney say that, the Boots fight was on the table, but Boots said he wanted to fight at 152, and this was before he fought at 47, and that's why he turned down that fight. But if it was at 47, he would have took it. So I don't know. Outside of that, I haven't heard Boots or Bozy mention anything about Devin. If they have, I haven't heard it, but I can definitely find out for sure. I can definitely find out.
I want to just know who lying. That's it. No, like obviously the fight ain't happening. It's not going to happen. Dev is not running up to 154. He's not on that historical pace.
I think, to be honest with you, if it was enough money on the table, I think Boots will go down to 54 and go down to 47 and go see Devin if the money was right. That's why I said I would have to ask about that because I'm not really sure. Bro, to be honest. Now, as far as Keyshawn and Shakur, I mean, we've seen plenty of fighters that said they were really cool, really close. They were like brothers, and they ended up fighting. Off the top of my head, Floyd Mayweather, Floyd and Zab. Floyd and Zab. That's exactly where I was going.
My most famous one is Simon Brown and Michael Thin Man Blocker. Because goddamn, Michael damn near put that motherfucker in a coma. So that was, and they was supposed to have been like, this is throwback. Y'all gotta dig them names up. You know what I mean? But that was one that come to my mind because that was, that golden era. But yeah. that was crazy because he hurt him too. He hurt him back.
I think
I think money will change a lot of people's mind. You know, when it comes
But
down to
yeah,
that.
but that's why I said it was almost like he kind of you said, but you contradicted yourself while trying to stand on you wouldn't fight him or Bud. But you said if the money was, it's like what, bro?
Well, I don't look at it. I don't look at that as like a contradiction. Like I look at it like this is the only
But you're
scenario
saying you
where I would.
won't do something unless of something. Then
Yeah, but I don't
don't
think
say
there's a
you won't
contradiction
do it.
though. Yeah, I just think unless it's this circumstance, I'm not doing it. But I don't think there's a contradiction. I think there's just unless it's
But
this circumstance, I'm not doing it.
he's saying he won't fight him. That's the contradiction. The word "won't" makes it a
Unless hold
contradiction.
on, but that's a run-on sentence too. You can make that a run-on sentence. I won't fight him unless they offered me this.
And
That's
then
a
go
run-on.
back to say, I won't fight him.
Yeah, but I think when he said it, I think he know that's not nobody's gonna offer them no life-changing money for that fight. Nobody's gonna
So
offer no
why even bring it
life-changing
up?
money
So why even
because
bring it up?
Because
So
it's an
why even
interview.
bring it up?
This is an interview. They talking. They talking.
Nah, that's what I mean. That's why we have to break down what these people are saying and deliver the proper message to the people that listen to us, or they won't have a reason to listen to us. Because
To be
that makes
honest,
no sense.
but to be
Either
honest,
you're
with
gonna
you,
fight
bro,
them or you won't.
but
If
the
the
reason
numbers right,
why,
we'll fight.
but the only reason he was even asked that question is because Teofimo's been coming at Shakur on that angle, and I actually agreed with Shakur when he said to Teo, like, yo, like, what does that matter if you're the man at 140 and I'm fighting you? What does it matter about me fighting somebody that I'm cool with? I'm fighting the best person in the division. I'm fighting the person with the ring belt. So, but I know that's why Shakur got that question, though. I know that's why he got
But
that question.
if you understand what they doing, then it wouldn't even be nothing that you would have to answer.
But vlog, the thing is, when do you know a boxer not to answer a question? They gonna
When
answer
he
the
know
question.
if he was smart enough to know it's warfare, and there's also a thing
What
called
fighters is
mental
smart?
warfare.
What
Huh?
fighters is smart in the interview process, though, bro?
No, I'm talking about him dealing with his opponent coming up. This is mental warfare. So if he trying to psychologically get in your head with this rigmarole stuff, you got to be bigger than that and say, "Yo, I would never fight my dude, and I'm standing on that. I'm fighting you." That's what the problem is.
But
You
that's what he
going into
said to
all
him,
this
though.
explanation and all of that. That's to me. And then again, I still stand on. I think it was a bit contradictory. I might be wrong. I might be misunderstanding the word contradiction. But when you say unless the numbers are, and then you started off where I won't, and then you say unless, and it's hypothetical numbers and fairy dust type of numbers. It's just weird, bro. It's just weird. It's super weird to me. That's all. I just and
Bro,
again
on some real trap, bro. Keyshawn Davis got not here all bright problems.
Keyshawn Davis got weight issues. That
Yeah,
Keyshawn Davis got to figure out what division he want to fight in.
But that's why I said. But see, that's why I said I'm not even. I understand what you're saying, but I'm not even really entertaining it because I'm like Keyshawn Davis. The last time we seen Keyshawn, he was overweight. He ruined an entire show, and his brothers got into a fight backstage.
Yo, but my man's went on a non-boxing platform to explain that. That's why I thought it was a big, like, yo, is you letting this man really psychologically try to get in your head and kick up dust in your camp and whoop-de-whoop and
I don't think so because I don't think so because I'm like Keyshawn's not even in that camp anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I heard the same thing that you heard.
Not per se camp, like, yo, they training together, but that's your squad member. Like that you trying to say that's your day one, that's your ace, you know what I mean? He been part of your posse. Y'all been posse. I get it. My thing is if it's so much of an issue, and then he's saying people running with it, and that's why he had to choose a platform that like the one he was on. Big shout out to Art of Dialogue, you know what I mean? Y'all bring my man Jeff on there. Let's talk boxing since y'all bringing boxers on there now. Anyway, that being said, though, that's really a like sports-based platforms, usually music people, blah blah blah, people like that. You know what I mean? It's really it. I just think like you can't lose to psychological warfare. You know what I mean? And then just kind of, walking the fence a little bit.
I mean, I don't really like. I just didn't take too much out of that because I'm just like, at the end of the day, I'm like, who's offering the money? And I don't see anybody offering no real money for that. So I'm like, in my book, I'm like, it don't matter if he contradicting. It don't matter if he's standing 10 toes down to me. It really don't matter to me. But I'm like, nobody's gonna pay no life-changing money to see Shakur and Keyshawn. That's just how I look at it. I don't think nobody's gonna. Yeah, I think it's just all talk. However you look at it, it's all talk. At the end of the day, he got a huge matchup on January 31st, and Keyshawn need to make weight. I'm sorry, Keyshawn got to make weight.
Whatever weight you choose to be in, make it. That's all I can say to that young man.
You need to make weight. I mean, and you got Nahir Albright problems.
Yeah, is he supposed to be staying at 140?
I don't know what Keyshawn doing. He talking about
because Nahir was at 140, right?
He talking about fighting Africa. He talking about fighting Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Like, what you say, Ty?
I said him and Richardson Hitchens had that back and forth. Like I kind of didn't like it because I was just like, I still just can't get over the fact that Keyshawn really he blew that event, man. So I guess with him going back and forth with Hitchens, I guess he's just trying to get himself back in the spotlight.
Yeah, Hitchens, I'm like, why are you even entertaining that? I'm more pissed off about that than Shakur talking about Keyshawn. I'm like, for Richardson Hitchens, I'm like, why are you entertaining that? I'm like,
yeah, his biggest fights is across the pond anyway. He'd get more money fighting them boys over there in London and all of that than anything with Keyshawn Davis right now. Top Rank ain't got nowhere to show no fights, so Keyshawn got streaming issues.
Keyshawn got a lot of issues.
Like, yeah, like where you fighting next, let alone wait.
Right. And I'm like, you don't know
who undercard you gonna be on, because you ain't got no card to carry no more.
And you probably owe Bob Arum some money too, because you screwed that card up. That's what I'm saying. Like some stuff to see, that's a classic situation where I'm like, I'll speak on it, but I'm not really entertaining it. Like Keyshawn got a lot of other problems before he got to get to Nahir Albright. He got to get to Nahir Albright. Forget Hitchens. He got to get to Nahir Albright. He got to get to his tail.
He done took that little Bob Arum money and put that money into his brothers and them. And obviously they not, they not on his level yet. You know what I mean? And I think that was a rush job. Probably a lot of wasted money behind him not able to win that fight. Yeah, and just the way that event, they last events in Virginia looked,
because they had to give out refunds for that, Blunt.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that went to that fight that was disappointed when that happened.
Yeah, they had to give
out they wanted to see Keyshawn, but they didn't get. That's the main event. They didn't get it. So I know a handful of people that went to that card and that was.
Oh yeah, you don't get the main event. I need half my money back at least.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm like, whenever you mess up some Bob Arum money, it's gonna take you a while. It's gonna take you a while to get off the shelf. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take you a long time to get off the shelf, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is he the type of dude Bob will serve up now?
Why don't I think Bob Arum just need his money back. So he gonna put him back on. He gonna put him back on.
No, I mean, but that's what I mean. But in a platter wise, like he gonna be the B side.
To who though?
I don't know. I'm just I'm asking.
But Keyshawn's a really good fighter though. So I don't see anybody on the top rank side. I don't see anybody
being
on top rank side.
And I mean but top rank though, they not setting their own cards up. So they're in the fill-in position. So what I'm saying is, if he was to give up Bob Arum and them, sending a guy to a turkey card or to a whatever PBC doing with Paramount and them, would he serve him up, or would he be asking for him to be the A side on that card?
Well, him and Well, Keyshawn and his brother signed on with Jay Prince, so I don't think he's serving up anything with Jay Prince around. So I don't think that's happening, to be completely honest. I don't think
But
he's
are
serving
they
it.
in A-side positions?
Not right now, they not. No.
Okay. That
They're not
answers my
right now.
question.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not right now for sure. Like I said, he need to go see Nahir Albright before he can mention a Richardson Hitchens or Shakur or anybody else he want to mention. Like he need to go see Nahir Albright. Like, gotta square that off.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Gotta square that off. Gotta square that off.
I mean, but are you supposed to be out there fighting your brother battles like that?
Hey, listen.
That was mano, baby. You know what I mean?
Hey, man. You know.
You got or is he not supposed to be working with bro, tightening him up and going begging for that rematch? You know what I mean? I don't know.
But I mean, the storyline is there though.
I know. I get what you're saying. I'm talking. You know what I mean? Principle.
No, I feel you. I feel you. You know. So I just, that's just one of them things where, I mean, we got a huge fight January 31st. T.O. and Shakur. Keyshawn, he got a bunch of other issues that he need to address. I have to be honest with you, this could probably gonna take him all of 2026 to address the issues he need to address. He need to see Nahir Albright, and then he probably need to get another fight in too if he gets past Albright, which I would expect him to. But Nahir Albright is a good fighter too, though. He's not. I don't think he's on Keyshawn's level, but that's why you get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? That's why you get in the ring. He was an underdog against Keyshawn's brother. And, you've seen what happened. So, Keyshawn got a long way to go despite all of the talking and, on camera stuff that he's doing. He got a long way to go to get back to where he needs to be. But, I'm glad we talked about this stuff today because I'm like, now we got to do an end of the year show. Like, we got to do an end of the year show and actually highlight how many good fights and how many good cards we actually have. We can actually rate 2025 as far as boxing, give it an A, give it an A plus, give it a B, B plus, C. You thought it was a terrible year. Like, we could definitely do that. So I had to do some prep for that show, for the end of the year show. We'll probably do some awards. We'll probably make it like an award show and all that, fighter of the year, KO of the year, prospect of the year. We could do promoter of the year, trainer of the year. We could do all those things, but we'll probably collaborate, together on that. So again, Mark Nash, if you're still in here, bro, like you can definitely get an invite to the end of the year show. And we can actually kind of come back to this conversation as well, and you can kind of highlight some of the things you were saying, like actually in the comment section, like on the show. Sometimes it's better if you just hear things just verbally versus reading them. You know what I'm saying? So we'll definitely make that happen. But, we in here hour 18 minutes strong. You know what I'm saying? Good show for sure. Ty Finney, give me your social media. Let them know what's going on with you, bro.
Yeah, man, Facebook, Todd Finney, podcast in this corner. Ain't really got nothing popping right now, but man, I'm doing a lot of stuff behind the scene that's not dealing with boxing. But I'm always here, man, to talk some good boxing, man. So I'm always here to chat for sure.
Big shout out to Ty Finney, the legend. Boxing First vlog, giving you social media, let them know what's popping.
Man, I am on Boxing First vlog right there on your screen. Also my YouTube channel. Expect me back after the first of the year, banging out videos, matchups. I'm about that bottom line. So I'm definitely be talking about the odds and things like that. So trying to get in my bag in 2026, man. I'm trying to be deep in the mix, you dig? So expect that back from my channel. Check me out on Instagram, coming back soon, posting regular at Boxing First, the #1, because there's a bunch of them little pages I was trying to put up. But check the current one. You'll see the little post that Shane made for me up in the corner with the OG. Mouthpiece. He used to run with Ali. Y'all know who he was. Mouthpiece Slick, you dig? So that being said, though, but that's Boxing First, the #1. And the boxing and the vlog is all lowercase. So that's the Instagram page.
All right, big shout out to Boxing First Vlog, man. I'm all over the place, man. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Kick, YouTube, everything G5 Jeff TV. Definitely subscribe to Boxing First Vlogs YouTube channel. Subscribe to Ty Finney the Legend in this corner YouTube channel as well. And also reach out to us on social media as well as far as this end of the year show. If you have any ideas for the show, if you want to be on the show, definitely reach out to, Legend, reach out to Vlog, reach out to myself, whoever, we all in contact. So, you reach out to one, you reach out to all three of us, you know what I'm saying? So we can definitely get this end of the year show going. I have to figure out a date. See, it would be a good time to actually drop that. And, that'll be the final show for the year, man. So on behalf of Ty Finney, the Legend, Boxing First Vlog, your boy G5 Jeff TV, man, this was episode 8, the Throw the Hook podcast, man. We're going to see y'all before the year is out. Peace.
Hey.
Peace.